Let's just put this very clearly. This is a big win for Nico Harrison.
Yes.
A needed win for Nico Harrison. 24 hours ago, we sat here, and Stephen A., you made it clear you thought Kyrie was not being treated right. And you said that because you weren't guessing, all right? So if Kyrie had, I know that this is counterintuitive. If Kyrie had just picked up his player option, which is what was the deadline, the reason this was an issue is the deadline was midnight last night. If he had just picked up his player option, it would have been a problem because it would have meant he wasn't committed long term. And I'll just take you back to when he was in Brooklyn. This same situation happened. They got to the day where his player option was there. They couldn't agree to a contract. He picked up his player option. Within a few months, he was gone. And I was afraid if that's what happened here, that that's what was going to happen. So not only did Nico get Kyrie to agree, took a pay cut and put them into a situation where they can use their mid-level exception. And the reason they need to have that is because they need to sign a point guard to play a big chunk of the season while Kyrie recovers from that ACL. So they've put themselves in position to draft Cooper Flagg tonight. Tonight is a day to celebrate in Dallas. And next week, when free agency begins, they can go out and say, come be our point guard, back up Kyrie Irving, you can start for half the year. Now, the coaching staff's a different story.
Yes.
That's a problem because not only Sham God, they lost Sean, and I know we're not here to analyze assistant coaches, but they lost Sean Sweeney, their lead assistant, to San Antonio. They're losing Jared Dudley, who Heath will tell you is one of the most popular assistant coaches in the league.
That's right.
And Sham God is one of the reasons why Kyrie, I'm not saying the only reason.
The biggest reason. He has a great relationship with Kyrie Irving.
So they got problems on their coaching staff. They also got Jason Kidd, who hasn't gotten a contract extension, and the Knicks haven't hired a coach. I'm just going to state those two facts and move on. But it is a reason to congratulate Nico Harrison and the front office to get Kyrie into this contract.
On a side note, I'm going to give my man Cameron some love. He is What It Is podcast with him and Mason, stuff like that. That brother played high school basketball in New York City. He's got a lot of roots. He knows a hell of a lot about what's going on in Dallas and in the NBA overall, so I want to give him some love as well. But let me say this, and it's very, very important that I add this. Listen, in the end, we have to pay attention to what's going on in Dallas with new ownership. Suddenly, it ain't about Nico Harrison now. Because the one thing that Nico Harrison is marvelous at is relationships, guys. His background is marketing and what have you. So now that we see what's unfolding, we see a Shamgar, we see assistant coaches looking to go elsewhere. We see Kyrie Irving pretty ticked off because he wasn't being treated fairly and they weren't talking about the numbers, a number he ultimately settled in. Think about this. Why couldn't you at least make it 120 to make sure that he was at that 4-0 number? Why couldn't you do that? Why had it to be 119? Why couldn't it be 120?
Because they wanted to have...
You know I know, but I'm just saying, damn. You know, I pay attention to stuff like that. That really bothers me. Listen, I think people know I know how to negotiate now. I'm just saying. I mean, come on now. It could have been 40, but you didn't do it. And I'm just looking at this organization and some of the changes that are being made and bodies that are departing. And suddenly, it ain't just about Nico. It's about a new ownership group that's flagrantly different from Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban was about relationships, too. It wasn't all business. Relationships were a part of business. I don't know if this new ownership is the same way. And if you got people that don't want to be there, who's to say Jason Kidd ain't going to be next? And who's to say what's going to happen then? We can't underestimate anybody.
And also what's going to happen
right now.
Tonight, because the NBA draft just hours away, and you can catch it tonight on both ESPN and ABC. Cooper Flagg is all but guaranteed to go #1 overall to the team Stephen A. was just talking about, the Dallas Mavericks. And when his name is called, he'll be the second youngest player ever to be selected first in the draft, behind only LeBron James. LeBron isn't surprised, as he has nothing but praise for the young prospect.
He wants to be great. You know, he had a hell of a year at Duke. A guy that can do so many different things on the floor, can play with the ball, can play without the ball. You know, his jump shot is going to continue to get better, super athletic, quick second jump. And also, he has the benefit, unlike myself, he gets to join a team that's established.
Right.
With Hall of Fame guys, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, right off the bat, Hall of Fame coach Jason Kidd. You know, these guys are like, they can give him the whole blueprint while he continues to learn what his blueprint will be.
All right, LeBron on his podcast, Mind the Game. All right, Wendy, I know Stephen A. just cautioned us about question marks surrounding new ownership in Dallas, but do you feel like Cooper Flagg's going into a perfect situation?
I think LeBron is the perfect person to analyze that because LeBron can really relate to what it's like to be a high expectation for #1 overall pick. And boy, is he right. As someone who was there in 2003, not only did LeBron not have an infrastructure to walk into in Cleveland like Cooper Flagg is walking into in a dream situation here, LeBron got bullied a little bit by some of the veterans when he came in. They had to make trades in the first 2 months he was on the team because there were players on that team that didn't think LeBron should have the role. Not only that, they played him out of position. They said, come in here and play point guard as an 18-year-old when that wasn't his game. I can go on and on about that. But LeBron saying this exactly underscores just how great of a situation this is. On lottery night, I think Cooper Flagg was a little bit shell-shocked because when he was examining his opportunities, I don't think Dallas ever came into his mind. And he's like, wait a minute. I thought I was going to come in and maybe they were going to build everything around me. And, I think he stuttered stepped a little bit. But now, as he's looked, not only that, it's a great spot to live. No state taxes. Mr. Smith, I think you're aware of that. And they are in position to compete right away. And here's the thing. He is in position to help these players right away. He can play roles that will help them. He may not win Rookie of the Year because they're not going to feed him a ton of shots. He's not going to put up great stats. But he is in position to make a difference in winning from day one, which is extremely rare for a top pick.
Keith?
Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I have to agree with Wendy. I had to agree with Wendy on this one, right? This is not the rule into today.
The brother's the truth. Cooper Flagg is no joke, and his versatility really, really comes shining through. But I'm going to caution everybody in this regard, and I don't disagree with anything that LeBron James said. I will just say this. Ownership can mess stuff up because of look at what all the stuff that we're talking about. And the fact that they let go of Luka, remember how people were reacting. Remember, Nico Harrison had to have security in his front and backyard for crying out loud. I mean, they had to watch his back. You had people who wanted to kill this man for letting go of Luka Doncic. This is not an exaggeration. And so when your concerns are assuaged because you got the #1 overall pick. What was their chance? Like 1.8%, and they ended up pulling it off. And they get the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. And this brother, Cooper Flagg, a freshman National Player of the Year, one of only 4 people in history to do that. It's coming with big-time expectations, right? You got to make sure that y'all don't mess this up as an organization. The fan base there is going to be looking for something. LeBron is absolutely right in terms of how special he thinks this kid is going to be. We all believe this kid is going to be incredibly special. But he's not walking into a clear-cut situation. He's walking into a situation where there's a fan base saying, we lost Luka, what you got? Because we know what we saw from this brother. What you gonna bring? And those comparisons might mess things up to some degree. And ownership, the team, Nico Harrison, his staff, Jason Kidd, assuming he's going to still be there, was smart to take that bag. It's a delicate situation that they're going to have to maneuver their way through. I'm not saying that Cooper Flagg in any way is going to be a disappointment to those of us who love the game and watch the game. Certainly not to somebody like LeBron James, who's a savant when it comes to knowing the game of basketball. I'm talking about the outside stuff that could affect your passion to play the game. You got to watch out for that because an organization can mess it up for you.
And we'll have much more on this later when Bob Myers joins us again. The NBA draft is tonight right here on ESPN and ABC 8 Eastern. But we got some football to get into when we come back.